Hello, and welcome to the Love Your Work Life podcast. I'm your host, Elissa Shuck. Whether you're going for that next promotion, looking for a job, or making a career pivot, I'll teach you how to navigate it all so you can have the career you want. This is episode 98. Before we get going today, just going to throw out a couple of things so you know what's going on. The first thing is that my new membership, Control Your Career, is launching later this month. Right around the 15th, I'll send an email out so you are in the know about the exact date. But I'm super excited about it because it is going to be this vault of all of the things you need to take control of your career, to survive when you have to, those micromanagers, those toxic workplaces, really practical coaching and tools to help you do that, but also to thrive when you want to. Because there are going to be times when you want to step up, step in, to elevate, to do new things inside the organization that you're in now, or to move out, to make a career move, a pivot. So all of the things that you need to take control are going to be in this membership. And it's going to be an ever-growing vault of knowledge and resources. I just couldn't be more thrilled. All of the things that I've encountered, all of the things that the clients in my private practice are encountering and that we're working through, I'm developing resources around those that anybody can access super duper easily. So at the end of the podcast, I'll come back with a few more details, but I'm super excited about it. Look for the launch around March 15th. But of course, you can subscribe now, and the subscription link will be in the show notes. So don't wait. Jump in there so that as soon as everything's available, you can start leveraging it and taking control. All right, now for today's topic. As you might expect, with regards to this membership, I have been doing a lot of research. I've been doing a lot of observing, and I've been doing some thinking about what are the things that are most important to people in helping them feel like they're thriving at work and living into their full capacity at work. And one of the topics that I want to address, and that will be the theme going into that first month. Oh, I forgot to mention, I'm doing different themes each month in the membership so that we'll have a particular focus on the coaching calls and the live Q&As that we'll do inside the membership. So anyway, the first one is going to be leadership. It appears in my observation and research that this is something that's on people's minds. They know they're capable of leadership. They want to step into a more strategic role in their organization, but they don't really know how to align themselves with it. Maybe you don't know how to articulate your leadership abilities and skills to help other people see you in that role, the way you see yourself in that role. So I want to just share some thoughts with you about how you might identify and therefore communicate your leadership ability, style, etc. Well, the first thing is that I believe everyone has a leadership style. And if you think about it, there are ways that you are leading at work, leading in your personal life, whether you actually have the title of manager, executive, director, or direct reports at all. So I first of all want you to give yourself credit for that, because there are many ways that you are stepping up, taking charge, influencing people, and just getting things done. So that's one thing to always keep in mind, and stay curious and look for those things in yourself. The way I want to construct this is kind of in quadrants, if you will. Think of it like cornerstones. First of all, you have your basic natural behavioral traits, the way you are wired as a human being. You have your take charge trait, and it isn't can you take charge or not. It's really, what do you look like when you take charge? Okay. You also have a social and relational trait. So this is your behavior in social situations and around people. You have a patience or rate of motion trait. How fast do you move around through the world? Think about that for a minute. We'll get into a little more depth on all of these. And the last one in these quadrants, or these cornerstones, if you will, are what could be called a systems trait, systems oriented, or think of it like a quality assurance trait. And again, it doesn't mean that there's bad quality and good quality. It's your approach, your behavior when you think of things from a quality assurance perspective. You have some range of all of these traits. Everybody has all four. The difference is which ones kind of dominate your behaviors, which ones show up the most, which one would we say is the one that is most prominent for you, okay? Most dominant, most prominent. Maybe you are take charge, and maybe that is the behavior that leads your general strengths, okay? And if that's the truth, then there's a good chance that you're someone who is direct, who is decisive, maybe a little bit competitive, and you get results, and you do it by being a bit authoritative. Now let's take a look at your social and relational trait. Are you someone who is articulate, enthusiastic, very interactive? Are you someone who seeks opportunities, and you're just kind of influential? Like, you just might be the person that people come to. You might be the person that's not afraid to be up and about and in front of others. Think about that. These all relate to your leadership style, okay? Now, if you are someone who your rate of motion is more steady and consistent, you're someone who it could be described as being very persistent and dependable. That is a rate of motion that indicates you're probably also a patient person too, as well. Does that describe you? Again, we're talking about the trait of these cornerstones that you lead with, the ones that seem to be the most dominant in your behavioral style overall. And then the last one, this systems oriented, this quality assurance trait. If this sounds like you, that you're someone who's structured, who's accurate, who is known for follow through, who really likes to have a system in place, have procedures in place, like that is your jam. When there's a procedure, you are thriving, okay? So we've got these four cornerstones. Now, how do these four cornerstones show up as a leadership style? Okay, because remember, as I said at the beginning, I truly believe everyone has a leadership style, whether you are in a role where you have people following you or not. And what I mean by that is you don't have to be in a quote unquote management position to show up as a leader. And the more comfortable you get showing up as the natural leader you are, and the more comfortable you get at leveraging those leadership traits that you naturally have, and you start to recognize those within yourself, the easier it's going to be for you to find those leadership moments in your current organization. And when you see those leadership moments and you step into those more boldly with more courage, then other people are going to recognize those traits in you too. And maybe you even find spots to talk about it. That's probably a whole nother podcast episode, because talking about how you show up isn't bragging or being arrogant. It's just you talking about yourself with ease and certainty, and helping other people see your qualities, the qualities that will actually help the organization thrive and move forward, all that good stuff. All right, back to leadership style. If you thought that the take charge trait was the most dominant behavioral trait that you have, in terms of those 4 cornerstones, then your leadership style is going to be authoritative and decisive. Does this sound like you? That you're very decisive, that you're someone who creates vision for the people around you? Are you someone that really nurtures and fosters innovation in the people around you? Do you spark that? Do you get that people thinking about ideas, talking about ideas? Are you someone who really likes to focus on results? If any of this describes you, then there's a good chance that your take charge trait leads you in your behavior, and then your leadership style looks like that authoritative, decisive leadership style. Okay, now if relations are your most dominant leading trait of those 4 cornerstones that we talked about, your leadership style is one that we would call persuasive. You're able to really focus on the team. You're someone who seeks opportunities. You have this amazing ability to influence and convince other people of things. You have really strong social and verbal skills. And you're, like I said before, you're probably really comfortable speaking in public. Maybe you have a desire to speak in public, but you haven't fully developed the skill. Think about that, my friend, because if you desire it, chances are it's a strength, but it might be an underdeveloped strength. Something to keep in mind, okay? If your social relational behavior leads out of those 4 cornerstones, then chances are that's your leadership style that I just described. If your rate of motion, if your patience is the leading cornerstone in your behavior, then your leadership style is one of a caretaker. You're someone who is very dependable, someone who's very consistent. You like this established pace. You can adjust that as necessary. If you're the caretaker leader, then you're someone that's going to keep things slowed down a little bit. You're going to foster stability and harmony. You're going to be someone that is known for pressing persistently towards goals, leading your team in this persistent move forward, this pressing forward. And last but not least, if systems, quality assurance is really important to you, and that's your leading cornerstone, then your leadership style is going to be a little more procedural. It's going to be a little bit more traditional. You're going to be someone that really thrives when there are systems and programs to follow. You're going to be someone that shows a high level of loyalty, and commitment. You're also going to be someone, again, think of it as quality assurance, that values the expertise of others. You're not afraid to bring in other people, subject matter experts, as needed, because that helps you assure the quality of output, the quality of the deliverables. You like to be right, and you like to have correct results, meaning you're assuring quality through your actions, through the way the team is working together. Now, of course, there are some other nuances to this leadership style, but I hope that you go back and listen to this episode again. Identify your traits within the descriptions that I just gave you, and then start to think about the actual things happening inside your world and the way these traits express themselves, both the cornerstone traits as well as the leadership style. Start to come up with examples of where you have thrived because these traits are underpinning your success. That is what's so cool about them. Once you start to get these aha moments, these, oh my gosh, that's me moments, light bulb things in your brain, then you will start to associate these traits with some of your day-to-day activities, actions, responsibilities, impact, and results that you're creating day in, day out. Now, you can start leveraging those for the kinds of roles that you want to be in, if you want to take more of a leadership role, or you can just say, wow, I don't need to be in charge of people, but I do want to leverage my natural leadership ability to have greater contribution inside the organization. It is so cool how this all works together. So, my friend, you are a leader. You can leader up anytime you want. Just recognize those amazing traits within yourself. Now, back to a few details on the membership. It's called Control Your Career. The first month's theme is going to be leadership. So I'm going to dive into more of this. I'm going to give you some exercises to dive deeper into your leadership style, into the way you operate as a leader. And when you sign up for the membership, keep an eye out for the VIP option, because if you sign up for a VIP, I'm also going to give you access to the upcoming LeaderCast event. LeaderCast does a live event every single year. I think they do a couple of events a year, but the next one is coming up in May. It's attend live event. It's a simulcast event, but it's also can be replayed. And I have a license to replay that, and I'm going to do that with a small group of people who sign up for VIP. When you do, it's not just going to be, hey, you get to watch this for free. It's going to be, hey, we're going to watch this together and then stop. After each of the leaders who speak, and I think there's 12 speakers, we're going to stop and pause after each one of the speakers and do some live coaching together on how to implement the things that we're learning through this LeaderCast event. And this year it's called Human Intelligence. How appropriate, because we've got all this AI stuff happening. Nothing can beat the human intelligence. Nothing can beat the gifts and traits and strengths that you have. So excited. I can't wait to see you there. All right, my friends, until next time. If you like this podcast, I invite you to visit the Love Your Work Life website at elissashuck-careercoach.com. I can't wait to help. I look forward to seeing you there.